My dear sisters and brothers, just a word in general about the parables of Jesus Christ, and then a brief reflection on the parable of the day. The word parable comes from two Hebrew words, parabola. Literally, they mean to place one thing by the side of another. And when you place two things side by side, two things happen. Comparisons emerge and contrasts come out. And the parable of the day is about contrast. I have heard many of us priests preach about comparison. This parable is indeed about contrast. Notice how it concludes. Jesus would say, evil as you are, you know how to give good gifts to your children. How much more will your heavenly Father give good gifts to those who ask him? In other words, the parable is not about God being like the friend at night who is asleep, who doesn't want to be disturbed, who is actually upset and angered by the knock on his door. But God is your father, your mother, someone who loves you and who is into you and who wants you to approach him for things big or small. And the truth is that nothing is so big that God cannot solve it for us. And nothing is so small or insignificant that we cannot go to him. If at all you want to compare or see the comparison in the parable of the day, we need to be like that friend who leans on to his friend who is asleep, who knows that the friend is going to give him what he wants no matter what, whether he likes it or not. How come when it comes to prayer, when it comes to taking up things with God, bringing our issues before him, we hesitate? Sisters and brothers, the prayer of petition is a beautiful way of getting closer to God. A prayer of petition has this logic that we fall in the arms of God for things big or small, things that are very significant and things that seem very tiny and insignificant. As we go through our day, do we raise our minds and hearts to God? Do we bring to him our prayers and petitions with childlike confidence, with trust? To conclude, a father asked his daughter to roll a little boulder that was in the pathway, in the driveway. Someone had left it there. And the child tried pushing it, rolling it, kicking it, and the boulder wouldn't budge. And it turns to the father and says, Dad, I did all I could, and I'm unable to move the boulder. And the father looked up from reading his newspaper and said, did you really do all you could? And the little one says, yes, you were here. You saw me do. And the father turns to her and says, honey, but you didn't ask me. That's what the prayer of petition is about. Leaning on to God, trusting God, and falling in the arms of God with childlike trust and confidence. Let's, throughout this day, as we go about our tasks, turn to the Lord and ask him for help, for he is more willing to assist us than we are to ask of him.